So we have to finish off this topic of the Kima. Doing it a few parts already. There's a lot more to talk about it. There's a lot more sources. Here we just brought one source from the Yerushalmi. It's also in Yuma in the Yerushalmi. It's in the Midrash Tilim 18:22. It's in Shir. It's in many other sources. It's in the Tanchuma and Dvarim Aleph. But we'll go on to see other sources. That the question is, who says we go by this? In other words, who says the halacha, so to speak, of the redemption is like this source, that the redemption comes slowly, slowly. And we mentioned the ramifications are very great, that the ability to see, to understand what is taking place when it comes in stages is not so easy, because you only see little things developing. And if you're expecting all at once, all perfect, all complete, and all holy, then it's not that way, and then you're very disappointed and depressed and despaired, and you give up, and this is definitely not the redemption. And therefore also can certainly not guide this process to its fulfillment, because you don't see anything that's growing there. You're just waiting for the all complete, and don't realize what's underneath the surface is developing here stage by stage in this amazing way that God works it out to bring this flowering of redemption. Like we said, Et Tzemach David. The rabbis say in Pirkei Rav Eliezer, important midrash, Rav Eliezer Gadol, chapter 48, that the final redemption comes with the pair of letters of Tzadik Tzadik. He says the first redemption was Chav Chav, Lech Lecha. It says Avram Avinu, different redemptions, Pei Pei, Pakod Pakadati. And the final redemption is Tzadik Tzadik. On this verse of the Tzemach, right? Et Tzemach David, that it grows like a flower, blossoms, develops. This slow process. Like I said, sees the eyes, and that's why we're trying to learn this, to understand, to see not just a moment, to judge things by the external facade of what is presently revealed. Because then, like I said, you'll be very disappointed. It seems to be very insignificant. You see a human baby, a fetus, or the embryo, and it looks just like, I don't know, a tadpole. It looks like what kind of human being is this? It's just like the other fish here. It looks the same. At one stage, they look the same maybe. Or a baby monkey and a baby, maybe they look the same, but one is the future to develop into this great human being, this Torah scholar, and one will remain a monkey or a tadpole or whatever. So the ability to understand the process, what is hidden beneath the surface, and thus also the ability to guide it and to bring it to its completion, is what comes out of this understanding of the Gula, that is Kima. But let's go to the second source already, the Vilna Gaon. Kol HaTorah is a student written by the student of Hillel Mishklov, a student of the Vilna Gaon. That's the teachings of the Vilna Gaon on the redemption process. It's an amazing book, an important work. Rav Kasher printed it in the back of his book, the Tkufa Gdola. Rav Kasher, who is the author of the encyclopedia, the Torah Shlema, this encyclopedic compendium of all the oral law written on, that was later written down, right? All the Midrashim and Chazal and Gmarot and everything written on every verse. He goes verse by verse in the Torah. You look up a verse in the Torah, Breshit chapter 26, verse 21, and there he has there all the Midrashim, all of Chazal, all the oral law that corresponds to, is related to, written on that verse. He passed away a few years ago. There's still, I don't think they finished yet. It's still in Bamidbar, I believe. That was years ago. It's already over 30 volumes. An amazing work. And he did it before the days of the computers. He had the cards and every, like also from the Kabbalah, everything. And Midrashim that haven't been printed yet. Unbelievable, Rav Kasher. Anyway, he also has this encyclopedic work on the redemption, where he collects the sources about the redemption, the stages of redemption, the Kima, the can it come through secular Jews. And he's not, again, not from, let's say, Merkaz Arav, not from Machon Meir. I think he was from the Gur Chassidut. But this encyclopedic mind, this giant mind, at the back of the book he says, wow, I saw the Kol HaTorah, which describes the redemption process. How can it not bring this in here? And then he quotes the book that was hard to find. Since then it's been reprinted a few times. So what we have in front of us now is the source from Kol HaTorah. This is chapter 1, verse, section 15. Kima. Slowly. Ladat merosh. You have to know ahead of time, or you should know ahead of time. You should be forewarned. Ki itchalta degula ba kima kima. Is the final redemption, the beginning of the redemption. The itchalta degula. The Quran Megillah says there's stated, there's the Megillah, the beginning of the redemption starts slowly, slowly. Ma'at ma'at. Little by little. Al pi Chazal, based on the Yerushalmi that we just read above, that we read the last few weeks. Kachi gulatam sheshel. Thus is the redemption of Israel. Kima kima va kayelat hashachar ki yeshev b'choshech Hashem orli olech v'ora nachon hayom. Again, he paraphrases the Gemara above on our sheet, that it likes like the morning star. I sit in darkness and God is like unto me. So too it goes and develops and rises like the sunrise until it fills the whole horizon in the midday. Lechen kol pu'ula shel itchalta, and therefore every activity of the beginning of the redemption, yesh latchil afilu b'ma'at. Therefore you have to begin even with something small. The actions of the final redemption, don't expect that you have to do big things and complete things. Everything has to be like giant strides, even small things. Al pi HaKatuv, and he brings the verse, and he says, Klal gadol al pi Rabbeinu. It was a great rule by our teacher, our master, the Vilna Gaon. Right? And he sent his students there to Israel, and they were the forerunners of, so to speak, modern Zionism. They came in the early 1800s. Actually, the Baal Shem Tov had also students of his that came in the late 1776. And the Vilna Gaon, his students came like 30 years after that, and settled in Tzvat and in Tveria and started in Yerushalayim and started the foundation of what the redemption, the Vilna Gaon writes here, is the beginning of the redemption. And for that reason, specifically to return, to pave the way for the return of the Jewish people back to the land and the building of Yerushalayim. He talks about the Mashiach ben Yosef, Mashiach ben David. In this book, he delineates what are those two concepts of Mashiach ben Yosef, these two Mashiachs, Mashiach ben David. He says, therefore, it was a great rule by our teacher, Shekol advarim shatidim lavo b'shlimut agula, that all those things, those great things that are future to be completed in the final redemption, matchilim kima kima gam bitchalt. They start small, little in the beginning of the redemption.